Hey everyone, Scott Stalker here. Today I want to talk about Angela Duckworth's book, Grit, and the YouTube video she did. And I'll be honest with you, when I saw her YouTube video, I went and scooped up the book right away because it really resonated with me. It really touched something maybe inside me as a Marine or just someone who really believes in everything she talked about. And so this video here is not to discount any of that. I love what she had to say. I've never met her. I'd love to meet her. I think she's just incredible, remarkable individual. Everything she talked about in that book, she talked about how that could be the #1 determinator of success in life. More important than intellect, more important than wealth, more important than a variety of things. She broke it down into grit, and she had a lot of science and data to back that up. And so I fully support everything she had to say. However, what I do want to talk about in this video is why I think there's something more important actually than grit. And that's hard for me to say because I've seen in combat in the Marines for 31 years across the Joint Force, those that tend to be the best are those who are able to grin and bear it, that are able to persevere when it's cold and wet in dramatic situations against an enemy. It's always those that are able to endure the grit and drive on and continue to persevere that tend to be successful. Let me tell you though why I think drive is more important. This really resonated with me when I watched recently the 2024 NFL Combine. There was an individual, Rome Odunze, number 22 for the Washington Huskies, who is just an absolute superstar. And I was thinking about all of the athletes out there. What are the things that you can see in these athletes that are identifiable traits that allow you to predict success in the future? Height, weight, speed, all of these other things that are out there. I saw in him an individual who was so determined to get right his number in a specific event that he consistently went through time after time after time, continuing to try to get better. So you can absolutely say this individual, Rome, has got some grit. He's a hard worker, especially given today when a lot of elite athletes didn't even show up, or they did their one and they went home. I looked at the NFL Combine. I said to myself, I'm going to watch this kid. He's my new favorite college football player, soon to be my new favorite professional football player. I'm going to watch him in the NFL. And I think based on everything I've seen in the tape when I watched the national championship game and a few others, and then how he acted during the NFL Combine and continuing to drive on, this is a person who has got a lot of grit, a lot of drive, and he's someone that's going to be successful. But the reason I think he's going to be more successful is I listened to him later in some of the interviews, and everything he talked about was a vision, was a purpose, and it talked about his drive. This is why I think drive is a little bit more important as it comes to success later on in life. Let me break down for you a few of the key reasons. I think drive is more important because it's more proactive instead of reactive. You take control of your life. You don't wait for things to happen. You take control. You put together a plan. You go forward and you seek out that plan. You do everything you need to adjust and to execute that plan, but you're driven. You're passionate. Everything you do is to complete your goals, and you have a goal. You know where you want to go, but that's not reactive. Certainly you'll react to the circumstances, lack of money. It could be a variety of different things that you will have to have grit to go through all of that, but it's still the plan. It's proactive, where grit tends to be more reactive. As bad things happen to you, you have to react. It could be cold out. The weather is not too great. It's raining out. Who knows? And you react to that. Still incredibly important, especially how you react to that and the amount of grit that you have. But if you don't have drive, if you don't have passion and a purpose and goals, you can react all you want, but you may not know which road you're going down. So you have to have that drive to understand where you're going. Drive is often talking about initiating action and putting a plan together. It often refers to the internal motivation that you have as an individual. While grit involves perseverance and sustained effort, drive is what initially propels individuals to start pursuing their objectives. And without drive, individuals may lack the initial push needed to get started on their journey towards success. And that's why I think drive is a little bit more important, because again, you got to have a plan. You got to put together a plan and have goals. You can persevere all you want in life, but if you don't have a goal, what are you persevering for? What are you dealing with those challenges for? So I want you to have a plan and have great drive. I'm very driven for success. I know what the next 15 years of my goals are and what I'm trying to do, and I'm driven to get there. And I know there will be bumps along the way. There will be challenges along the way, and I'm going to have a lot of grit to get through those. But I know why I have the grit, because I have a goal and I'm driven to succeed. Number two, we talked a little bit about passion and purpose. You have to have that passion and purpose in you. Otherwise, again, why are you doing this? Drive often stems from a deep sense of passion and purpose for one's own goals. However, individuals are driven by a strong sense of purpose and intrinsic motivation. They are more likely to invest their time and energy into pursuing their objectives wholeheartedly. Passion fuels determination and commitment, driving individuals to overcome challenges challenges and setbacks with enthusiasm and resilience. Again, your passion and your purpose for success come from that drive, and then you will go through the grit to get there. I know it's a bit nuanced and maybe it's a play on words for some. Again, I don't downplay the importance of grit, but I don't think it's the number one thing anymore. I think drive is far more important. And lastly, when it comes to drive and the conversation about grit and what's more important, I think it brings you down to having, if you have drive, you have goal clarity. You have clarity, you understand what you're trying to do. You have measurable outcomes, both measurements of effectiveness and allowing you to measure all the, what it could be your resources, it could be your time, it could be where you're at based on where you're trying to go. Are you behind the power curve? Are you a little bit ahead? Did things happen to you along the way, which requires grit to embrace and go through those challenges? But having drive gives you goal clarity. And I think it's really, really important here as we have this conversation about what's more important. So in the end, while drive and grit are important qualities for success, drive may be considered more foundational as it encompasses the motivation, ambition, and passion that propels you to great success. Again, you're going to have grit. I highly recommend you watch Angela Duckworth's YouTube video. She did an incredible TEDx. I watch it every year, if not a couple times a year. Pick up her book, read what she has to say. She's actually done the research. I'm just a knucklehead that I've observed these things. And as I've seen what she's talking about, I just truthfully believe and honestly feel that it takes a lot of drive to get where you're going to have to go. You have to have goals. You will embrace things along the way, but if you're not driven, if you don't have the drive to set the goals, to achieve your outcomes, to measure your success, to have a mentor to tell you why you haven't or have not succeeded, what you need to do better, all of those things, you can have all the grit in the world, but I don't know what you're going to achieve in the end. Hey everybody, let me know what you think about this video. Let me know where I'm crazy. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Why Angela Duckworth was right all along and you should listen to her, not me. Again, this isn't a combative conversation here. It's just additive to the point. And I think, again, drive might be more important. So put your thoughts in the comment section here. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate you following me and sharing this conversation. And if you think there's other things as it relates to personal development, put that in the comment section as well so I can do a video on that as well. Thank you very much.